Who here has ever heard of Nelson Mandela? Well, I am here to discuss Nelson Mandela. And according to the Encyclopedia of Britannica, Nelson Mandela was born as a son to a chief, and he was born into chieftainship, but he later gave that up to become a lawyer. His name is not originally Nelson. Whenever he was in elementary school, one of his teachers ended up giving him his name, Nelson. He is known for being the first Black president of South Africa. I am going to reveal Nelson's early life in this speech, his presidency, his life after presidency, and the well-known psychological phenomenon called the Mandela effect. My research for this speech was done through ABC Clio, Encyclopedia of Britannica, and OSTI.gov. First, let's discuss Nelson's early life leading up to his presidency. Nelson was born on July 18th of 1918. He was the son of a tribal chief. He was raised into chiefdom at an early age, and after his father's death, he attended a Methodist school where he became a devout Christian. He came back to his tribe after he was done with school, and he did the ceremonies that his tribe was known for. And then he renounced his chieftainship and attended Fort Hare University, which was South Africa's first university for Black students. In 1940, Nelson Mandela was expelled for taking part in a student protest. He continued his studies at Witwatersrand University while he worked as a police officer and a miner. He received his law degree in 1942, and in 1944, him, Walter, and Tambo, who he met at Fort Hare University, founded ANC Youth League. During the 1950s, the group pushed for parents to take active opposition to the apartheid system, newly institutionalized by the NP. The NP came to power in 1948. Mandela became the ANC deputy president in 1952. During that time, he led the civil disobedience campaign against apartheid laws and took part in mass protest against the establishment of separate Black homelands in 1956. Mandela, as well as 155 others, were arrested for taking part in a peaceful protest in 1956. He was eventually found not guilty, though the trial dragged on until 1961. Meanwhile, in March 1960, police slaughtered 70 Black demonstrators at a protest in Sharpeville. The ANC was banned a few days after this protest, and Mandela went underground, but still appeared in strikes and protests. In August 1962, he was sentenced to life in prisons for sabotage, treason, and violent conspiracy. He narrowly escaped the death penalty. His writings became known worldwide, and that's how he became famous. He was offered freedom several times as long as he did what the government agreed to. He refused. Throughout his imprisonment, he retained wide support among South Africa's Black population. On February 11th, 1990, the South African government under President de Klerk released Mandela from prison. Mandela became president of the ANC and led negotiations with de Klerk to end apartheid. Next, we're going to discuss his presidency. According to the Encyclopedia of Britannica, in April 1994, the Mandela-led ANC won South Africa's first election. And on May 10th, Mandela was sworn in as president of the country's first multi-ethnic government. In 1995, he established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which investigated human rights violations under apartheid, and he introduced housing, education, and economic initiatives which were designed to improve the living standards for Black people. In 1996, the new democratic constitution was overseen by him. In 1997, he resigned his post with the ANC and transferred the leadership of the party to Thabo Mbeki. Mandela did not serve a second term in 1999, but was succeeded by Mbeki. Now we will discuss Mandela's life after presidency. After leaving the presidency, Mandela retired from politics, but continued to maintain a strong international presence as an advocate of peace and reconciliation and social justice. He established the Nelson Mandela Foundation in 1999. According to the Encyclopedia of Britannica, he was a founder of the Elders, which is a group of international leaders founded in 2007 for the promotion of conflict resolution and problem solving throughout the world. In 2008, Mandela was recognized by several countries in honor of his 90th birthday. Lastly, he even has a psychological phenomenon associated with him. This psychological phenomenon was named the Mandela effect. And this psychological phenomenon called the Mandela effect came about because of the fact that when he was imprisoned, people thought he died. Nelson Mandela, in fact, did not die until after his presidency. There are examples of the Mandela effect, such as the dash in between the Kit Kat symbol, the monocle on the Monopoly Man, and Curious George, who in fact does not have a tail. Many people remember Curious George having a tail, but as we know, he does not. Today, we have discussed Nelson Mandela's early life leading to his presidency, and his early life, his life after presidency, and the psychological phenomenon known as the Mandela effect. According to the Encyclopedia of Britannica, Mandela Day is observed on Mandela's birthday. It was created to honor his legacy by promoting community service around the world. Thank you for listening to my speech.